Joining us is Kevin LaRue. And Kevin, you have been in the software a while. You've worked on some pretty awesome
I'm
products.
right here to prove it.
What are a couple of products that you've worked on that people might have heard of in the
Wow.
past?
Wow. Well, if you're going way back, I worked on a product called Super Paint and started back in the 80s
Yep.
with a company that was acquired actually by Aldus and then Adobe.
Yeah.
And we off to start up a company in the mid 90s. And well, I've traipsed around the industry a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I've got my little personal catalog that I put together for the afternoon here, and I want to show a couple of quick portraits, which is of my daughter at our Venice Beach photo walk a couple weeks ago in LA.
And Skylum holds photo walks all around the planet. So
They
make
do.
sure you visit us on Facebook. There might be one in your neighborhood. It's a great chance to catch up with other photographers.
That's true. You can also go to events.com and check them out. So I just pulled up my daughter in the she was our model for the day, and I'm just going to come in here and do a couple of quick fixes. You know, I'm really loving Luminar 4. It took just a little bit to get used to the new interface, but I'm finding that the workflow is a lot faster. I'm just going to come in here and maybe adjust the light a little bit. Just kind of drop the overall exposure down. Maybe do a little smart contrast. That's putting contrast in places where it's needed. You've got a pro explanation, I'm sure. But I like to use my editing with the AI tools. So this is our old favorite, AI Enhance, and it just kind of evens out the tones in the image, pops a little color, little clarity in there. And I just love to start with this one. The next thing I want to do is kind of walk in and I like the overall image, but I'd like to add a little bit more detail into the bust here and back without impacting her skin at all. And for that, we turn to something called AI structure. And I'm just gonna pop that up a little bit. I'll boost it a little bit, and you can see if I zoom in just slightly here, that is putting a little bit more detail in the background, but not really affecting her skin. I'll just kind of crank it up a little bit so you can see that some of that detail came into the bust there without impacting your skin at all, and that's what we want to do. Okay, next up, I'm going to work on her skin tones a little bit, and I like the color of her lips, but I'd like it to match her hair just a little bit. I'm going to come into what we call our skin enhancer and our portrait enhancer. Now her skin's pretty nice, but I'd like to smooth
Good genes, I hear.
Yeah, good. Not for me, trust me. But I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit, and you can again see how fast and easy it is. I'm not really working too hard at this, but you can see that it just kind of smooths it out while retaining that natural tones. And the portrait enhancer just a little bit here. I'll zoom out just slightly so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Then we'll kind of zoom in and out. Just going to add a little face light on this. Notice that as I add it, just lightening up the skin tones on her face. The AI has kind of analyzed the image, figured out where the skin tones are, looked at the shape of the face, and actually identified some objects on the face as well. I'll come in here and just do a little bit of eye whitening, but she's got beautiful eyes, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to enhance them just a little bit more. And you see they just get a little bit of pop there. And then I'm not, I don't dare touch the face here, but I do want to go back and adjust the lips a little bit, and I'll whiten her teeth just slightly. So we'll wait for that to catch up, and let's take a look at where we started, where we're at. Again, her eyes are nice. We have this nice little switch up here. Switch that off, it'll just take off the portrait enhancer side. So we kind of go there. So the changes are subtle, but that's what you want in a portrait like this. I'm just going to kind of back out so we can see the entire image, and I'll think about what I want to finish this off. I probably finished most of my off with our vignette. That's under our Essentials palette. I don't know if you guys have talked about how
show some of the custom
have
options.
reworked. Yeah, so the new interface has been guided. So we've got our Essentials here. This is our Creative tab. This is our Portrait tab that we've been working, and this is our Pro tab. And again, we've been in the Portrait tab. I'll finish the image off with a little vignette. She's pretty much in the center, but I might want to choose the subject, and this is placing the center of a vignette, which is going to draw your eye's attention down to the focal point of the picture. What I like to do when I'm doing a vignette is kind of go pretty hard to start with. so I can look at the feathering, see it kind of smooths out a little bit. If we go here, you can see it's very harsh and round. But I can come in here and I can adjust the size of it and the shape. And then again, I can kind of feather it, make it nice, smooth. Then I back this off a little bit. And now we've got something that's nicely finished to my eye.
Yeah, what you had the viewer's eye in. And click that choose subject button, Kevin. I love this one. Like if you want, you could shift your vignette down a little bit, like place it on her nose. And now the vignette is a little bit more centered on her face as opposed to just centered on the middle of your picture frame.
Exactly. Now another tool, and again, I don't know if you've talked about this yet, Rich, but Luminar really unleashes creativity. I mean, this is one of the key points of the product, and I'm one of these guys who stands in line at the DMV, edit photos on my phone, so I find it incredibly relaxing and rewarding. So when we look at things like to tap into our creative side, we can do things like put a nice glow on here. We'll use our mystical tab, and
and for those of you
cool.
who are looking for image radiance, it was renamed mystical because it's more about a feeling. Click on advanced settings there, you'll find some extra controls where you can actually adjust how rich the colors get and how soft the glow is. And in this case, maybe you want to try cooling it down with that warmth slider, and you see the glow gets a cool glow, gets an early evening light. And you take it the other way, it's going to feel like it was sunshine, and it brings it in, so you could change the mood.
Right, that's right. No, it's all seasoned to taste. I mean, it's just one of these really nice touches of Luminar that you can tap into. Do we have time to do?
Oh yeah, you got time. You got another. We got 15 more minutes with you.
You got a schedule over there.
Yeah, no, but I'm looking at the schedule. Just give me 1 second though. We're going to go back on camera and address a couple of questions here.
Okay.
So go ahead and cue up your next picture.
Will do.
Couple of you are saying, "Where's my software?" Actually, more than a couple of you. It is as they're starting to hit the buttons on send 100,000 emails. They go out in a queue. It's not one person addressing them, sending them one at a time. Don't worry. It is going. It just takes a little bit to get through the system, but it is going to be hitting your box soon. A couple of folks, about 20,000 of you, signed up for the early bird offer. That's why some folks got it early, because they were part of a special promotion to get it a week earlier. But we hope that the had it are enjoying it. So a couple things there. I am going to put up the link for those film color styles. Every hour, we're going to be giving away digital freebies. So if you are hanging out and joining us, you'll be able to check this out. And this is Luminar Tips. Remove the hyphen here, just ignore that hyphen. So Luminar Tips /film LUTs. And since I'm feeling like it, because a couple of you have asked, this is next hour's freebie, which is the teal and orange color styles. We're not quite into the next hour. Actually, we are into our next hour.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've survived the first hour of a 12-hour webinar.
How is that possible?
So we are in hour number 2, and this is the bonus there. This is the teal and orange color LUTs.
Wow.
So the color styles, and this is a very popular look with Hollywood movies. And you can download these. I hope you have fun with them. We will also post these links in the comments of the videos later. And if you guys are having any issues downloading that, I am putting an alternate link in the chat pod. So you'll see that there is an alternate link here for the teal and orange. We'll also have Sky Pack later and some cool presets, looks from Scott Kelby, analog style. So we got some awesome digital for you. And you might have heard we're also giving away some t-shirts. So you can go ahead and toss your name in there. The survey is optional if you'd like. But we've got time for a couple more pictures, and then we're going to be joined by Armand as a guest. But Kevin, let's take a look at your screen one more time and do another image here.
Okay. So I'm in my library, and I'm going to go ahead and use the sorting capability to just show the favorite pictures. I'm going to come in because I have built-in model releases with my children. I'm going to go and show an image of my son from a couple of years ago. Love to start with the AI tools. I'll just use accent to kind of bring out and even out those tones a little bit. But I'm going to go straight into the portrait enhancer here, because this is one of the new tools. We haven't really had strong portrait functionality in the past, so I'm really, really pleased to see that we've spent some time on it.
Yeah,
I know the R&D guys spend a lot of time on it.
Absolutely. We went from just the basics to the best in the industry.
Yeah, it's really, really incredible. And I think we also kind of leapfrogged the state of the art in a sense. You know, a lot of tools are very manual. I'm not a manual brushing guy myself, but I can sure move a slider like nobody else. So we're going to come in here, and I'll just add a little face light.
Yeah, crank that up for a second so they
yeah.
can see it. Watch this, guys. It
Yeah.
just finds the face.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect the beard or the hair. It's perfectly masked. It's like you had an assistant who knew exactly where to shine the reflector.
And I didn't have to pay the assistant.
Right. Or if your batteries were dead in your flash, it fills it in. This is great for outdoor photography.
Yeah, great. Good stuff. Now, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. My son actually has some nice blue eyes, not for me or my wife. So I'm not sure what kind of genetic stuff is going on there, but we'll go ahead and crank up the eye enhancer just a little bit. And you can see how it really brings out the blue there. I don't like to do eye whitening too much. I just a little bit of little touch there. We've got a function in here called dark circles. And so some of us, like myself this morning, have
Me too.
some dark circles under our eyes. He doesn't really, but I can kind of crank that up. And again, what it's doing is it's identifying the area under the eyes.
And sometimes with an outdoor portrait, you'll get dark circles just because of the position of the sun.
That's good. That's right. So let's go ahead and this is one that I think he'd appreciate. And actually, you can see as I move the slim face, we're slimming in just a little bit, but not too overly much. So as I crank that back to 0 and crank it in, it just gives a nice little shape to the face there. His eyebrows are looking pretty good. I don't think he'd like me to darken his lips too much, but I will anyhow. And now we've got a nice little portrait here. Let's go ahead and do the before and after here. So I'm just picking up that slider up at the top. So there's the before. You can see how the face light really improved that image. And again, we'll do a before and an after. So I kind of like that. Actually, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Right in the portrait side, we've also got an effect called the Orton effect. And that's really cool because what it does is it creates kind of a glow and a defocus around the image while keeping the center fairly sharp. So I'm just gonna dial that in a little bit. And you can see, and again, it's just a nice little effect, and you can touch that up with your vignette. And again, I'm going to choose this up. He's pretty much dead center.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just going to do that. And again, we can just go start, finish. And this is one that I'd send to a print.
Yeah. And people are asking, you know, why would you slim the face here? And let me address that. It's not just about, you know, obviously your son's pretty young and healthy and skinny here, but sometimes when we have a wider angle lens, it can sort of add extra distortion that goes beyond the thing, or if we're shooting at a lower angle or just get really up close. And so in this case, I'm pretty sure that as his father, you know what his face looks like, and you're just making it look natural to what you see every day.
And so does Grandma.
Yeah. Yeah. So
who happened to be with us.
So this is pretty simple. All right, yeah, Kevin, we got time for another one.
Have I got one more?
Yeah, but
I love black and white. And,
absolutely.
As Rich mentioned, we were in a pretty interesting place yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm going to just put up a link here for those of you that need it. If you want those teal and orange color styles, you can go ahead and download those. Those are the giveaway here for this. And this is a cool cinematic type color style. We're switching now from portraits to sort of an awesome moody image here. Yeah, so this is Chernobyl.
This is Chernobyl.
Not the HBO miniseries, the actual Chernobyl.
Actual Chernobyl, complete with Geiger counters.
Yeah.
So this actually started off. I have to give kudos here to Rich because he schooled me a little bit more. I hadn't shot HDR in quite a while, and I have a new camera, and so you know, we were doing HDRs sort of inside some of these buildings. So this was actually tone mapped in Aurora HDR last night. And I like the overall shot. You know, it's got some mood to it, but I want to do a few things in Luminar.
And Aurora HDR is one of our companion tools. It works great with Luminar. You can send from Luminar to Aurora HDR. You can use it as a plugin sometimes, and it's a great way if you do have HDR images to merge them. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's done here. He's merged these together into a nice high-res, cool file, and now he's going to enhance the details.
Yeah. So there were five actual exposures here. About a stop apart. And I'm just gonna enhance the details. I'm gonna add a little contrast to it. I don't wanna make it overly crunchy because I wanna give it a real kind of a little bit darker mood here. So I'm just going to come in here again, do a little bit of accent AI, and now I'm switching over to black and white. So I'm going to convert this image to black and white. And I noticed a few areas that have kind of popped out as being overly bright in the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Pro Tools now, and I'm going to do something called dodge and burn. It allows me to kind of take down some areas of the image through brushing. And I said I wasn't very good at brushing, but I'm going to click the darken. I always like to start off much lighter than you'd think.
Yeah.
And now I'll just come in here, and you notice it has a minus brush on it. I'm just going to come in and kind of swipe through a little bit there, maybe take a little bit of the window down and give it a little second to catch up.
Yeah.
And we'll do a before and after. And click the done here. And we'll do a before and after. So there's the before, and you can see it's a little bit colorized. You can see the red pipe, but I wanted to make it a little bit darker. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little.
Actually, before you do, try this advanced contrast.
That's a great one.
This one's one of those ones that not enough people use. You can go after your highlights, midtones, and shadows separately. So play with those and show how you can bring out these different areas. And like in this case, you're toning down the highlights very easily.
And I can do that by taking the balance down, bringing up a little more contrast in the shadows and midtones.
Yeah, and
cool.
if you ever want to see the before and after on an individual effect, guys, there's a little toggle switch right up in the upper right corner there. Go ahead and click that on and off, Kevin. Nice subtlety there, but I love how the windows have just been knocked down a little bit, so they're not so dominant. They're still focal, but they're not overpowering.
Right, exactly. And you're kind of looking down the way there. I'm actually, just for sake of time here, I'm going to do something on the vignette. Like I said, I love the vignette, but I'm going to choose the subject kind of right down the hallway here. And this is where I'm able to add a little bit more kind of sinister feel to it, I guess. Open up the inner light there. So you're kind of looking down the hallway, and we'll go ahead and increase that feather just a little bit more. So let's look at the before and after. So there's the before, there's the after. If I wanted to make this a little bit more interesting, if we had a little more time, I might fiddle with the smart toning feature.
Yeah,
give it a little bit.
You got 3 minutes. So we got no smart tone yet, but we got smart contrast. So play with that one up there in the essentials.
Sorry, I meant split toning.
Oh, split toning.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. This is awesome.
So
little color.
Yeah, I'm going to cruise in here. I'm going to give it just a little color here, and we'll kind of.
Yeah.
You can see how that got a little more brownish.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little more sinister there.
You're creating an emotion, and it's subtle. It's not an over-the-top sepia effect. It's just a gentle effect.
Right. Exactly.
Nice
so
job.
Again, using this toggle here, we can turn it on and turn it off. We're just turning off that one.
Yeah.
And then overall, we've got the before and after.
Yeah, and this really just helps with the mood. This place had this feeling of aged, and you know, this really brings it out, and it feels, you know, it's kind of timeless. We don't know if this photo was taken yesterday or the day after, you know, the bad stuff happened. So
there's a little bit of paint peeling on the walls.
Yeah,
so.
A little bit. Yeah.
Anyway, this is again, you know, when you're talking about going down the creative path, it's a little bit of season to taste, and what kind of stokes your fires, you know.
Absolutely. And Cash likes your split tone. I agree, Sweet. Cash. Thank you. We appreciate that. So we do work for tips. So thank you guys for doing this.